Hello everyone, it's episode 3 of Inspiring Inquire. Welcome back to our avid listeners. If you hear the baby in the background, that is Nyla.
That is my daughter, guys. She's 4.5 months, so she's our third podcast member.
Yep, come on, join the party. We're very excited about today's topic too, defining success, because I feel like everybody's kind of trying to figure that part out. What success means to them. How do I know when I am successful? How do I become successful? And we're hoping that today we can just kind of explore the topic a little more and give some clarity and, a peace of mind or state of mind for those who are searching and seeking.
Absolutely. And also to show that, because it is something that we are flushing out for ourselves as well, like trying to discover our own definitions. So to really show and maybe help everyone else or anyone listening understand that it's something that you have to figure out on your own. And it's okay if you don't have that answer yet. You are not alone. You are part of the majority if you are like, I don't even know how to define my own success yet.
Sounds great. Let's just start it off with a scripture.
Absolutely.
In Matthew 6:21, it says that where your treasure is, there also is your heart. I really like this scripture when we're talking about success because I feel it really puts a light on understanding that there is a connection between what you love,
right,
what you're passionate about, and where your treasure is, where you actually succeed. Absolutely. There is some kind of connection there, and I think Matthew 6:21 shows that to us.
And you'll come to see I'm all about the quotes. So when I was trying to figure out how would I define success, I came across a quote from Ingrid Bergman, and she's old-time actress, star of Casablanca, and she said, success is getting what you want and happiness is wanting what you get. And the reason why I like that one is because for me, I think that success and happiness go hand in hand, so it can't just be one element. There are multiple elements in there because it's about your inner happiness and peace, state of mind. All of those things come into that defining success.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of this concept I have about taking and giving and things just being connected. As a Christian, it's kind of hard sometimes for me to really want to be successful. And when I say want to be successful, I mean society's definition of success, being famous, having lots of accolades, and lots of money.
Yeah.
Sometimes as a Christian it's hard for me because when you think about humility and you think about
you're supposed to humble and
simplicity is hard to realize that sometimes your passion brings success,
and that's okay
because there is a difference, I think, between taking and actually getting. Because if you don't give anything, like you don't need to give anything to take. You can take whatever you want, whatever you need.
Right.
But when you do give,
you will get.
And
that's where there's that duality. That's where there's that balance in it, where it's not. Because I think the word that maybe I'm wrong, the word that you're going towards is that selfish nature that comes with taking, where it's just, where you're about self. It's all about self. Versus if you're thinking of others, if you're coming from that place of others, then it's about giving and the reciprocity that comes with that.
Exactly. And that's kind of, when you're on that journey and you're following, trying to follow in the footsteps of Christ. What's equally interesting is that this definition that society has of success. Everything we've found so far when we did our research, when we asked ourselves this question introspectively, didn't necessarily line up with society's definition of success. I do wonder where that started from, why success is equaling to wealth and riches and money and fame, when nobody
not
agrees.
Even the quote successful people, the people that we're saying that fit that standard, who fit that mold, they're not even saying that is it.
What success is.
They're saying, there's more, or that's only going to take you so far. Like we always say, money doesn't make you happy, that fame doesn't make you happy, so what is it?
You were telling me a story about Bill Gates and one of his friends, another rich guy.
So I was trying to figure out what Gates says about success. And then ultimately what Gates said is that his friend Warren Buffett, these are like number 2 and number 3 successful people, basically that do the people you care about love you back? That's the question you need to ask yourself. That's what it boils down to. The people you care about, do they love you back?
And it's a rich man.
These are two of the richest people in the world. Those are the questions that they have to ask themselves. And that's how they were defining or measuring their success. Because all of it doesn't really matter if there's no one there to share it with. All that money in the world, and I think it was like you have hospital wings named after you, and you have all the accolades, you win all the awards, your Pulitzer, your Nobel Peace, whatever it is that you're, quote, striving for. Your house full up of those and you're all alone.
Right.
Then what?
I think that's another good point too, is that they've found what they describe as their definition of success. Yeah. You know, everyone kind of has their own individual journey to discover what that means to them. And sometimes it has to do with what you have and what you don't have. But we can talk about that a little later. I want to talk more about that personal aspect of it. You know, how everyone has their own journey in the process.
And, funny enough, that's we spoke about her in our last episode, Brene Brown, and she essentially says that you are actually doing yourself a disservice by going with what's called the default definition, and that's what we're talking about, society's definition of, money, accolades, etc., that you're doing yourself a disservice by not looking and deciding and defining it for yourself, looking at what is it that you truly want to accomplish, what is it that truly makes you happy, what is it that is going to bring you peace, what is going to bring you joy in your life. Forget what everybody else says it is. And then from there you create your own definition of success.
You know what that reminds me of as you talk about forget what everyone else is doing, that compare and comparison aspect that we like to do sometimes. It reminds me of a story in the Bible. I know I'm always going back to the Bible, but it's kind of my base.
She go to.
Yeah, there's a story, man, about, I don't remember it properly, so I'm going to paraphrase, but this guy gives out, different talents to different servants and asks them to all, make something of the talents or bring it back to him, something like that. And 2 of the 3 of the servants multiplied what was given to them, and one of the servants did nothing with it. He hid it and brought back the same talent that the master gave. And the master was so upset. He was like, you did nothing with what I gave you, nothing at all. Everybody was given a different amount of talents, so you can't really compare yourself with what someone else is given to know where you are going to be or where you need to be. It's really important for you to recognize that we all are different, we all are unique, we all have special talents, we're all going to start at different places, but your success is going to be dependent on
what you do
your
with it.
Effort.
Yes.
Right, degree of effort. What effort you. So if you had 1 talent and you bring back 1 more and make 2, that's fine. If you had 5 and you bring back and you make 10, fine. But if you have 1 and do none, there's a problem. Or if you have 10 and do none,
even though it's just as bad.
It's just as bad. It's your degree of effort kind of determines that success. Another example I could think of is the story about a football game where, each side prays. They're both Christian football teams and they both pray to have a successful game. One team is praying, to win. God help us win, give us, strength in our legs and our practice and everything. Let's win. And the other side is praying to enjoy the game, to learn lessons, to become better teammates. And their definition of winning or being successful in that game is going to come true whether they score 10 goals or 0 goals.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's important to recognize that sometimes you can set yourself up for failure or distress by how you're defining your success.
And I think that's why it's so important that we look deeply at it. The deeper you look within yourself, or who you are, the better you will do, and that you're less likely to create those kind of pockets of failure for yourself if you're truly aware and understand yourself. coming from like the psychology background, if you think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it looks like a pyramid and it has about 5 stages. The first one is the physiological needs: air, food, water, shelter, sleep, clothing. The theory behind this is that you have to fulfill each one to kind of get to the next level. The next level being safety and security. So your personal safety, financial safety, health and well-being. Third being social belonging. Fourth being esteem needs. So being respected, appreciated, feeling competent. And the fifth being self-actualization, realizing one's full potential. And then from there, that's when you should be able to, start giving more of yourself towards some higher goal in altruism.
Okay.
So that's the theory.
And that theory says that you get to one after the other,
that's
right?
That's the theory.
So you can't get to self-actualization if you don't have...
So the idea is that if you haven't met those other needs, you won't be able to get to that self-actualization place. And that's the ultimate goal. Personally, I think it's a bit more blended. I think there's a little more synergy. I think that... there needs to be more of a balance between them in that, you can have love and belonging if you don't necessarily have financial safety. You know what I mean? Like there is a little wiggle room to me with that. But one of the key parts, I think, when you're really trying to define what your success is when there are deficiencies. So if you think of someone who, let's use esteem. Let's say there was a deficiency in feeling appreciated and feeling competent in your life. But, as a younger person, as a child or a teenager, young adult, then your esteem need, you're going to need to fill that esteem pocket a lot more than you may need to fill the social belonging pocket because there was that deficiency going in. The same would apply to any other. If you had your personal safety violated at some point, then there's a deficiency there, and you're gonna want to fill that pocket more than another person.
So are you saying that people who are aware of their deficiencies have a harder or an easier task of defining success?
I think if you are aware, then the task becomes a little easier because then you're going to kind of know why you're placing an emphasis on certain things. I think when you're unaware, it gets harder because you're constantly trying to fill this block and it may not ever seem like enough. So, if you think of the person who you're like, but they have more than enough money, like why they keep going? Maybe there is a deficiency that they themselves are not aware of. So you can't fill it. It's never enough.
That makes a good point because one of the definitions of success that I found was it was about just accomplishing a goal. And any goal. Just if you accomplish the goal, you're successful.
Makes sense.
It does, but people find it very difficult to actually define the goal. It's not really the definition of success. It's hard to define a goal.
What that goal is. What exactly am I trying to achieve?
Right.
Yeah. It's like, I want to be wealthy.
Is it coming from a place of deficiency? Is it a balanced goal? Is this goal about me? Is it about other people? That is really...
And those are the questions I think you have to answer for yourself. And then you can start crafting your definition.
Agreed.
And another thing is it's fluid. It's not a stagnant thing that it's going to change and evolve because you as a person, you change and evolve, you grow.
That's true.
So you have to remember that it's always going to be a working definition.
I like that. The definition of success is a working definition.
Full stop.
So what about at this point now, though? Do you have any definition of success on what that is to you?
I mean, I ended up finding 3 P's.
That's funny. I found 3 P's too. Let's see if they're the same P's.
All right, here we go. I have purpose, passion, and profit.
Purpose, passion, and profit. Okay.
In that the two will lead to, so if what I'm doing I'm passionate about, if it is a purposeful venture and I'm doing it to the best of my abilities, it is possible to yield a profit. And I feel that you should be able to receive that.
Well, for me, the 3 P's that I found was to fulfill your purpose in life. So that's same, purpose. I also said positive impact on people in the world. Like just always bringing positivity, always making sure that...
So that giving aspect.
That giving aspect.
Yeah.
And then my third one wasn't profit, it was pride. And not to be proud, but to take pride in what you're doing, making sure you're accountable for your actions and accountable for, you know, the things that you put out in the world, the things that you say to people. If you can do things with purpose and, you know, you're taking pride in what those things are and you're having this positive impact in the world, I feel like those are successful goals and that defines success to me.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I wonder what your definition of success is. Let us know, you know, feel free to send feedback and questions, comments. We love all of that good stuff.
I'd love to leave you guys with what Oprah said. Can't go wrong.
I love Oprah.
Can't go wrong with what Oprah said. So,
all right.
Oprah says, how to be used in the greater service of life. Ask this question and the answer will be returned and rewarded to you with fulfillment, which is the major definition of success to me.
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
I love it. One word. You see, we take 3 P's, you take
like
one.
Fulfillment.
1 F.
1 F to 3 P.
I love it. All right, I hope you guys loved this podcast as much as we did doing it. It's always such a pleasure to share, and we're happy to have you on the journey with us. Next week, we're going to be talking about marriage, and guess what? We have 3 here. And we're going to have 5.
We're going to have 2 more.
We have 2 more coming. So you're not going to want to miss it. Thanks so much again for listening, and hope you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff.
Please leave a review or 2.
Leave a review or 2, she says. She has a baby in her hand, you know? So I'll see you guys later. Catch you later. Bye.
Is marriage a system? And if so, does the original design still apply?
I don't know. Maybe we should be maintaining it, or maybe we should be redefining it.
We're gonna have a candid, uncensored discussion about marriage with our spouses.
Next on I and I. Don't miss it.